Hello, and welcome to the latest installment of Critics and Cars Getting Home.
Tonight, we're on the way home from seeing John Wick Chapter 4.
And if it looks a little different behind us than normal, then A, why aren't you looking at our faces? And B, it does because we're coming home from Queen Street where we've seen it on the mighty IMAX screen.
Amazing on the IMAX. You'd sort of think, oh, that's a bit gratuitous, isn't it? But my goodness, they made it worth our while.
They certainly did, and not just with the free bribery of food and drink, but the actual film itself, I reckon. I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but we have, this is the third John Wick movie we've seen in the last 48 hours, having done
We did a quick rewatch of 1, 2, well, we did one last year, didn't we? But
yeah, we thought we'd parse them out, and then all of a sudden we looked at the calendar and realized we were seeing John Wick 4 in 2 days.
And then we needed to do John Wick 2, 3, in order, you know how John Wick always, oh, and by the way, if you've not seen any of the John Wicks, then I don't know why you're watching. Let's assume you have. So you know how all of the John Wicks, they end on a massive cliffhanger, yeah, where invariably someone has said, well, we're going to have to kill so-and-so or do such and such, and Keanu Reeves walks off into the distance in sort of slow-mo, although he moves at quite a languid pace anyway, doesn't he? He's not really doesn't need slow-mo. So,
amongst all his superpowers, super speed is not one of them.
So you'll remember that at the end of John Wick 3, he's fallen off the top of a building having been shot by Winston, and he's disappeared. Winston
being Ian McShane, the person who runs the hotel.
The manager of the Continental Hotel in New York.
Yes.
Do you know what's amazing, right? That with the John Wick stories, as again you will know, they all actually, I don't remember, I guess 1, 2, 3 and 4 all are set within quite a short period of time in terms of the narrative, right? In terms of the story. Yeah. And yet, of course, the films are several years apart, but nobody ages at all. So Ian McShane still looks exactly like he did in all the others, as does Lance Reddick, the concierge, as does dear old Keanu. So it's
and Lawrence Fishburne, he's back as well.
Absolutely. So what fun! Oh my gosh!
I think so. Just to sort of recap where we are personally with it.
Yeah.
Like I thought the first one was pretty good. Good start. I thought the second one was a huge step up. The third one, when I first saw it about 2 years. I saw all of them theatrically, and I'm like, oh, there's so much backstory. But having gone through it this second time, it's actually that backstory is a lot less trying to remember who characters are and just a lot and what's gone on, and it's a lot more just kind of fun and the joy of like kind of knowing those characters.
I thought episode 3 was good on a second rewatch. I agree.
Yeah, and I would definitely recommend if you are coming to see 4 that it will help to hit the ground running with all of that. That said, you can also just show up and watch some of the most amazing kick-ass action sequences that you will see this year.
They really are tremendous.
And this is much more globe-trotting, for one thing. That's one of the pure joys of this film is we aren't just in New York again.
So in previous films, we've been in Rome, that was exciting, New York, which was exciting, Casablanca.
Back in New York.
Yeah, this time, it's mainly in Paris and Berlin.
Osaka.
And Osaka, of course. Oh,
yes.
Absolutely stunning.
Gosh,
do you know, this film is nearly 3 hours long as well, and it doesn't get, well, I can get tired. I mean,
there's a brilliant
get tired, but far out.
There's a brilliant point where it feels like it's about to flag, and then they basically go into a half-hour tribute to The Warriors, the 1980 Walter Hill film with John Wick needing to get across town before sunup. And that's sort of, I mean, I love the crazy ambition of this series. Like, literally the first transition between scenes rips off Lawrence of Arabia from a blown out match to Sunrise in the Desert, and you have to have a lot of guts to do that, and it does, and it's just really found its like niche of like ludicrous, but everybody's committed to it. It's somehow not quite camp.
Absolutely.
But it's
not slapsticky at all.
Or too winky at the camera.
Yeah.
And yet, which it's a perfectly heightened world that feels
completely credible. Now, this is the thing, right? So I was talking to another young woman. I'm a young woman. Another young woman film reviewer beforehand, and we were talking about the beguilingness of whatever the word is of Keanu Reeves. Yeah. Now, I grew up with Keanu when he was coming up through the business. Yeah, Point Break and all of that. But I was saying to Kate, you know, I kind of fancy Keanu, but not in that old kind of typical kind of heartthrobby way. There's something about John Wick that, despite the fact that he kills mercilessly, and I have to say he's a very good shot, so I suppose you know he's talented, but quite aside from the murderous or the killing side of him, there is a vulnerability to John Wick. He is softly spoken. In fact, I would say that Keanu probably has no more than one page worth of dialogue in the whole film. Hey.
So I was Googling beforehand how many people John Wick killed in each movie.
Yes.
And one of the autocompletes was how many words does John Wick say in each movie.
Right.
So I tried to start, I didn't think I could keep track of both, but I was trying to do a plus minus for a second. And at one point he was up 3 bodies to 1 word.
Wow.
And then, then it went the other way around, and then it got too hard to track how many people he killed.
He says virtually nothing in this film, and certainly nothing of consequence. And Ian McShane is the one with all the dialogue, and there isn't a lot of it either.
Well, actually, everybody he meets, you know, that's
sure,
how
but they're all just sort of trying to be a bit clever, right?
Yes.
And Lawrence Fishburne, who is only ever sort of tongue-in-cheek taking the mickey in a way, I find a little bit annoying, but I forgive his character because the whole rest of the film is so great. But,
and we haven't mentioned Donnie Yen yet.
Oh, Donnie Yen is outstanding. He's literally a blind assassin. Outstanding. What is he, 61 now? What did I say? 61 or 62?
Could be, I don't know.
Stunning.
But yeah, just a glorious role for him in terms of a character with heart and with equal facility with stabby weapons and shotguns and automatic doorbell sensors.
Oh,
they're just
incredible.
Yeah.
So, can I just say, you know, I don't think of myself really as the target market for a film that is mainly just sort of they're not even just bloody fight scenes, are they? They're literally killing scenes, set piece after set piece after set piece. But this was absolutely enthralling. And I will say, one of the things I think that made it extra beautiful for me, probably a la Kill Bill, the first one, a la Desperado back in the day, which I did love, was the lighting and the cinematography.
The cinematography in this is stunning.
And the production design.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the places that he goes, and then we have these incredible set pieces. The design is absolutely jaw-dropping.
And to be fair, there are a few places that are just trading on existing things, like the Fondation Louis Vuitton or Sacre-Cœur, things like that. But still, we've seen a couple John Wick knockoffs over the year, and they'll try to, they'll just bang, a neon light up and be like, it's styled. And when you see, 4 different colors of light subtly gradating while there's slight movement in the background, and just I would give it Oscar nominations for cinematography and production design.
So the irony is, last night for us was the Oscars, right? And I actually thought, good Lord, we've only just had the Oscars, and why on earth was this one not nominated? But it'll be, of course, it hasn't actually released.
Yes.
So it could turn up next year, although everyone will have forgotten it by then. But it is literally that good, eh? And the cinematography, as you say, it isn't even just the lighting and the beauty of it is a beautiful film. But it's not even that. There are some ingenious camera moves.
Oh yeah. So a lot of it was working at the level that I expected it to. Nothing was below the level I expected. And then the Dragon's Breath shotgun happens, and with the Dragon's Breath shotgun comes one of those scenes that just raises the bar.
Which one?
For action movies. It's the one you were talking about when the camera goes overhead.
And then suddenly it's all a bird's eye shot, effectively.
It's extraordinary.
Moving.
And that's after, I'd already thought...
and it's a continuous take as well.
Yeah.
So sorry. After
Oh,
you
no,
already
that's
thought
fine.
what?
That the Arc de Triomphe was going to potentially be the highlight of that.
For those of you who have ever been to Paris, I don't mean to sound like blah, 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 but for those of you who have ever been to Paris, you remember how when you're like walking around Gay Paris, you know that you're not going to try and cross the road in front of the Arc de Triomphe because the roundabout just goes round and round and there is never a gap. Well, holy mackerel, there is a shoot up in the middle of that traffic, that circulation around the Arc de Triomphe. Oh my gosh, it is so hilarious because they have to battle not only not being shot but not being run over. It's staggering. Like, I audibly when we got to the end of that scene.
And we haven't even talked about some of the other. I mean, there's a bevy of great supporting performances.
Yep.
Shamir Anderson.
Oh,
I believe is his name.
Shamir Anderson.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
He's in a TV series called Invasion, which I've never seen. He was in Stowaway, which I've never seen.
He was in Bruised, which was an average Halle Berry boxing film that was on Netflix during lockdown.
But he's absolutely
amazing.
Terrific as a tracker who enters the maze. And we've got Bill Sarsgaard, who some of you will know from Barbarian.
And Pennywise.
And the clown from It, as the Marquis.
Yes. Not the Marquis de Sade, but the Marquis
de Dick.
Yeah.
No, excuse me.
But he's an. I mean, all those Skarsgårds though, they're incredible, aren't they?
Yes.
So he's Alexander's little bro. Oh my goodness, the whole film was such a blast, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And we're getting home right now, and we've probably said all that we need to say.
Much.
No, but it is. I will say, 170-minute runtime, as they said.
It's nearly 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh, and there's scene at the end of the credits, and I accurately predicted what it was going to be.
That's true.
Although not fully. But anyway, won't spoil it for you.
Any more than we already have.
Yeah, there are many more surprises to be had that you don't know about. And we'll just leave it at that, unless you want to give it a rating.
Look, I mean, I'm going probably 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I put 4 on Letterboxd, but as I'm talking about it, I'm wondering if I was too stingy.
And I might wake up tomorrow and come down off that high. Who knows? But honestly, there really isn't for a John Wick movie. There is really very little to complain about.
I think the complaint is more conceptually about what a John Wick movie is than anything else. Because if you want a John Wick movie, I don't know if it gets better than this.
Exactly.
See you next time.